Hello, I'm Ann Baker of Essence Health, and this is an introduction to the Enneagram. And the Enneagram is a psycho-spiritual map for growth and transformation. You may have heard about it from friends in your workplace, maybe at your religious or spiritual community. So this is going to be a series of videos. That will cover just kind of the basics of the Enneagram. Okay, we're going to get started. So here's what different video sessions are going to be covering. In this one, it's going to be why study the Enneagram. The second will be what is the Enneagram? The third will cover the 3 centers of intelligence. The fourth will be an overview of the 3 types that are part of the body center. The following one will be an overview of the types that are part of the heart center. And week 6 will be an overview of the types that are part of the head center. And the last week will be focused on the spiritual tools for growth and transformation. Okay, so in this video, we're going to cover the why. And we're going to look at ego to essence, self-knowledge, compassion for others and relationships, and balancing the mind, body, and heart as the 4 main whys from my perspective. Okay, so the Enneagram describes a journey, and it's a journey of all of humanity from moving away from our essence into ego and then back to our essence again. So let me explain. Humanity is like a many-faceted diamond. This is inspired by a book called Facets of Unity by A.H. Almas, where he describes the divine essence coming through 9 different ways. So if you imagine this light is coming through a diamond, it's going to be reflected in 9 different patterns. These are archetypal patterns, but they're also divine qualities that he calls facets. But these over time in our childhood, we lose that connection with that pure source of love, right? Nobody's parents are perfect. We end up losing that connection with our source. And we develop personality patterns or distortions of this divine essence quality through our defense patterns, through our coping strategies, how we defend against potential pain, how we move towards getting approval and love. And those strategies really make up what is known as the ego or the personality. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's how we cope and get through life. But when we get fixated on just one of those facets, that source energy that is part of all of us can get distorted or blocked. And we actually, even though we have one Enneagram type, we tend to borrow traits from a couple of others, but we really have access to all of them, all 9. So the good news in all this is our essence cannot be harmed or lost. It is our truest self, our highest self, what we're made out of. So, and this is really an important journey right now that individuals are making, and I believe the collective is making, and it's really awakening to our true self and our true potential. And I think this is really what's going to serve the planet and humanity. So most people come to the Enneagram to try to understand themselves, which is a really good thing. We need to understand ourselves before we can understand others. And that self-knowledge can really help us identify the healthy patterns, where we're closer to our essence versus the troublesome patterns that kind of trip us up and cause suffering. So this self-honesty is really an essential ingredient to healing. And I love the Enneagram because, it levels the playing field. It's everybody has not so healthy patterns, that show up 9 different ways. So we can use humor, we can use self-compassion, leads to humility and an overall sense of like, you know what, we are all doing the best we can. So it's really that spirit of self-compassion and acceptance that we can learn to accept our personality before we can transcend it. A lot of people embark on a spiritual journey and just want to get rid of the ego or, try to just attain different spiritual states. And it's really about embracing and loving who we are. So real self-knowledge, says Don Riso and Russ Hudson, 2 very popular Enneagram authors, is a guardian against self-deception. The Enneagram takes us places and makes real progress possible because it starts working from where we actually are. So that's really the amazing thing about the Enneagram. It's a shortcut. A lot of people say, oh my God, it cuts years off of therapy. It just gives you a snapshot, gives you an honest picture of really where you're at right now. And that really helps our relationships. So from an energetic standpoint, relationships are like intersecting patterns. So we each, have one of these 9 archetypal patterns, and we're in relationship with all of the 9 different types all the time. So the more we understand all of the types, the more we understand and can enhance our relationships. So we end up having more empathy, more compassion, less reactivity. I like to say it's a more fluid dance because we're kind of dancing with all the patterns all the time. So, and the Enneagram gives us a language to communicate about our differences, our challenges, and also our potential. I find the more my family knows about the Enneagram, we can really encourage each other to embrace our truest self. So an aspect of the Enneagram that we'll be covering is using these 3 centers of intelligence that we have, which is our head, heart, and gut. And most people don't know that we actually have neural tissue in all these 3 areas. So some people say we have a brain in each area. I don't know about that, but we definitely have the capacity to access information and knowledge in each center. But our society tends to really focus on the head center, and we lose touch with our heart, and we certainly lose touch with our bodies. So we're using these centers all the time, whether we're aware of them or not, but we tend to rely on one more than the other. So one can be dominant. And a lot of teachers say that the other ones are repressed. Not sure if repressed is the right language, but definitely, we tend to rely on one and maybe ignore the other ones. So the gut center has our gut instincts. A lot of our nervous system patterns are part of the gut or belly center. We have these gut knowings, and all that leads to right action. So the body center is connected to action. The heart center is really about feeling and relating, and there's intuition that's very special to the heart center. And the mind is what we think of as our intelligence. That's where our higher order thinking is, but our beliefs are stored. But when we work with the center, we can really access wisdom and insight. So we'll be talking about that later. So we talked a little bit in the very beginning about our ego patterns and versus living from our essence. So just wanted to explain a little bit more. Our ego patterns include our strategies that we learned very young for survival. getting love and approval and belonging. So these are both defensive strategies, and they're kind of offensive strategies too. They're kind of how we can shapeshift to actually get something that we think we need. So they're protection. And, they have served us, but it's, when you embark on a journey of growth and transformation, you realize, okay, there are certain patterns that I rely on for defense that I don't need, or maybe they're actually getting in the way. So these patterns can lead to an idealized self-image. So we can think we have to be a certain way in order to survive or succeed. And then these beliefs lead to what are called the fixations. And that leads to different mental strategies that are not that resourceful. They can be unhealthy. Leads to emotional strategies that are also can be unhealthy or non-resourceful. That's the language my teacher, Jerry Wagner, used, or non-resourceful actions or behavior strategies. So, and we'll talk about some more of those things. But the gifts or higher essence qualities is what I'll leave with you today. So for type 1, it's about the essential goodness, which is about really seeing potential in everybody and looking at the world and seeing this essential goodness in just how it's expressed as it is. Type 2 can express a true altruism, a giving with no strings attached. Type 3 can express wisdom that knows how to accomplish things and be effective in the world, which is really a gift. Type 4 can tap into originality. So type 4 gives us access to that original creative essence of the universe. Type 5 gives us access to a knowing that comes from a clarity of being able to put a lot of the big picture together and not so reliant on just the facts, but having a wisdom to see kind of the whole thing. Type 6 and can embody true loyalty and faith. So even in the face of danger or potential problems, there's a loyalty to themselves and others, and a real faith that that there are resources to meet any challenge. Which leads to type 7 is this inherent joy, but there's also a belief of an abundance in the universe, that there's just always potential for growth and possibility. And that's based in this kind of unlimited resources that are available. Type 8 can empower or embody empowerment. And part of that is this universal truth. So they can really embody this life force energy that is really effective in the world. And type 9 at the top of the circle can embody peace, but it's more than that. It's an all-inclusive love, that nothing is left behind. So I hope you enjoyed that. And I'm going to leave some reflection questions in the comments that you can look at. And we'll see you again for the next video, session 2.